This is the WU Global Program. As usual, this program aims to disseminate information about what goes on at Walailak University, issues that can be communicated with the world. Today, we are very fortunate to have visitors from Kenya, Miss Charity Muchira, from Kenya's Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. Ms. Muchira is attending the 3-week-long training program on climate smart agriculture. She's part of 19 countries participating in this very wonderful training program supported by Thailand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Welcome to the program, Ms. Muchira.
Thank you.
And also we have Assoc.Prof.Dr. Krisanadej, JaroensutasineeDirector, who is convening the program, as I mentioned. Himself, Dr. Krisanadej is a research scientist at Walailak University. At the same time, he has been part of many international collaborations across many countries and scientific research and activities. So welcome both of you to the program. Welcome.
Thank you.
To the program. And I would like to, first of all to start asking Dr. Krisanadej about this climate smart agriculture that you are convening with the support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. So could you briefly tell the audience about the nature of the program and what you want to achieve, and the fact that you have so many representatives from many countries, 19 countries around the world?
Yeah, the program actually supported by the organization called TICA, Thailand International Collaboration Agency, something like that, under the AITC, Annual International Training Course. Walailak University have privilege to host this event this year on site. I mean, we have the opportunity to run the training online for the past 2 years. The course is very similar, something related to climate and also agriculture. Okay, and this year we run this course in Walailak University. So the participants are very fortunate to visit Nakhon Si Thammarat and also the land of glory of Walailak University.
19 countries. Well, what are these countries? Can you name some of them?
They are all from all over the world. From China, I mean, from biggest country like China, and the smallest country maybe Fiji, right?
Fiji Islands.
In terms of area, yeah, Fiji Island in the Pacific. So very unique opportunity for us to have the interaction among different, different climate and different topography. Together, we hope to achieve new ideas and new collaboration.
Yes, indeed, because climate change is a very big issue that is a major concern of people across countries in the world. So we have from Kenya today, representative, one of the participants in the program, supported by the Thailand's Department of International Cooperation Agency. So we have Ms. Muchira. She's an agronomist, actually at the Agricultural Livestock Research. And I think people in Thailand in particular might not be very familiar with Kenya. Kenya is one of the major countries in Africa, indeed, but Thai people might not be very familiar with the country. So first of all, I would like to ask you, Ms. Muchira, about the situation regarding agriculture and livestock in Kenya.
First is to say that I'm humbled to take part in this training which is taking place at the Walailak University. the selection process was very competitive, and so we are very grateful that we made it to the last point. Second is to give an overview where Kenya is located. In Africa, we have the northern part, the eastern part, the western, and the southern. Kenya specifically is located in the East Africa, where we have the COMESA of 5 countries. And Kenya, just like other African countries, we rely heavily on agriculture for our development. It actually takes the highest percentage of our growth and GDP. So in Kenya, I come from a research institution called Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. And this organization has 2 departments, both the livestock and the crops. But for my case, I'm in the crops department. That's why I'm an agronomist. As well, we have agronomists in the animal sector. So the research institution is a premier institution in Kenya mandated to do research. This is a research institution, and we also have universities whom we collaborate with on research issues. The country also has the Ministry of Agriculture, because with the Ministry of Agriculture, you are able to devolve to the communities. So our research outputs are channeled through the Ministry of Agriculture activities to get to the local people and the community as the end users of our technology. Agriculture in Kenya has been affected by climate change, just like any other country, whether it's in Africa or other European countries. At the moment, specifically Kenya, we have floods, which are quite devastating. And it's an experience we are seeing after several years, because in Kenya we have 2 rainy seasons, bimodal rainfall. We have what we refer to as long rains between March and May, and farmers are able now to plant their crops that time, especially the cereals and also the pulses. These are the legumes. And then we have another short rain season, which is not so much heavy rains, and we plant short rain season crops. The ones which will take less water to grow, and they will grow fast to evade the drought which comes in early December. But recently, we found that the seasonal planning has changed due to the impacts of the climate change. The farmer has a calendar which they always think will work, but now it is not working. And that's why we are now putting more efforts as a research institution to devise the practices that the farmers have to adapt towards resilience to climate change. Thank you.
Would you say, in terms of cereal production, grain production, would you say Kenya is self-sufficient, or do you have to import a part of that from overseas?
Solely Kenyans depend on corn. For us, we call it maize. Because people have a meal
that's staple.
That is a staple food now. Because from maize, you can make flour, you can actually value add to many dishes, but with a different dishes. But now we also have rice, which comes as the 3rd produced cereal. Second one is wheat. But at this point, I can say even the 3rd produced cereal, which is rice, it is not enough for our country. We still import. It is around 510 tons consumption, metric tons, versus 110,000 metric tons production. So you can see the huge gap.
What is the population of Kenya?
From the last population census, we were around 40 million.
40 million.
Yes, habitats.
Right. So your research focus on corns, on maize, right? To increase the productions of maize, or your particular area of your research work focuses on rice or on maize, on corns? Your own personal research.
My own research. In my research, specifically, I don't research on maize only. I do all the crops, whether they are root crops, corn, even millet cereals as well. We are now promoting those forgotten crops because they have good nutrition status. Some of them don't have gluten, and they're able to adapt to those climatic conditions that are harsh. Corn is in a way becoming a challenge to produce. Okay. So we want to move away and convince people that you don't have to survive on corn alone. We can diversify on produce from other crops.
How many researchers are there in the organization?
Researchers in the category, there are many because we have more than 20 research stations of CARO. CARO is a research station which is distributed all around Kenya, different stations. We have researchers in biotechnology, researchers in crops, researchers in animals, diseases, animal diseases, crop diseases. These are pathologists. We have entomologists, and there are many.
Now, and you've been here. Now, this is your third week, and it's not very long for third week. But I believe you have been brought out of the campus to see different places in the province of Nakhon Si Thammarat. What would you say, comparing what you have seen even in a very short time here in this region of the country of Thailand and Kenya? What comes to mind when you observe things in Thailand, particularly in this area?
Thank you for that question. Well, we've moved around the coastal areas over the weekends, and I've realized we have similar problems with water shortage. That's a big issue, and water has continued to decline for food production. I've realized that also fruits production is the main activity along the coastal areas, and it seems the farmers here are endowed because they are able to irrigate the crops in a very organized manner. Each durian crop has its own sprinkler. For some countries might not reach up to that level, and we have to devise other maybe practices that are resilient more than just doing the water. We practice maybe conservation agriculture practices.
Dr. Krisanadej, I think you must be very happy with your work, with your project, bringing in people from different countries who cannot escape from the effects of the climate change. What is your assessment so far from giving giving lectures and bringing them out of to different areas in the province, and you have these participants interact with different people, including academics. So what is your assessment?
From the organizing perspective, the goal actually to get each other, get information like the one that just told about the two rainy seasons in Kenya. I mean, something like this, we never have the information before. But when we have group of people together, this kind of information actually, and in Kenya, you separate the animal and the crop division, right?
We have farmers who do animals without crops, and most of the farmers, because they are smallholders, they mix. It's a crop mixed farming.
Right, because most of the smart agriculture practice actually combine the two.
It's combining.
Combine the animal and the crops normally. So this is kind of thing that I'm happy to see, as in my evaluation. It's surprised that Nakhon Si Thammarat also have two rainy seasons as well. I mean, we usually have really heavy rain during the October, November, December. And sometimes we have another short rainy season among the Valentine time, February and March. So, I mean, there's something to think about here as well. I mean, this kind of, information that can gather together, we can think about, that excites me. That's the, the power.
Indeed, because you have participants from Africa, from the Pacific, from the mainland China, from Vietnam, from Middle East.
As
right.
well.
So very, very diverse.
Yes.
But it's all affected by climate change. The world is so small, that we can't. No one can escape from this climate change.
Well, there is a lot to learn from the other participants. we thought that problems that are facing Africa are unique, but they are not unique as well. When you look at Laos, the issues that we have of soil infertility, soil erosion, even in Vietnam, they are also experiencing. But there are also countries that are having problems with the contaminants, which we might not have, probably because of the geographical location.
Right.
So with this kind of information sharing, we are able to see which activities probably we could incorporate in our farming systems, food systems, to improve our people's livelihoods. So there is a lot to learn from participants.
And Dr. Krisanadej, I hope this is not the last time that these participants meet, right? Are you planning to bring them together in some time in the future to?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of alumni, right?
Yes.
It's been going on in keep in touch with each other, and yeah, I think the activity will continue.
Right, and it can be done online as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the world is getting closer by all these.
Some global village.
Yeah. And it would be good if we could bring them physically to Walailak University again. You know, that's
on Friday we're gonna take them to our smart farm in Walailak, which is enormous. I mean,
right.
They will have a lot of experience on how we manage with the water, something like that.
Yes.
And yeah, I think we actually have get together on social media, right? On Facebook. I think Line group also being created. So in the future we can do that.
Muchira, what about collaborations with other countries like? So in Thailand, so obviously this is a very important opportunity for you, and it's so lucky that you are here at Walailak and you have opportunity to meet with so many people from many different countries. But at the same time, do you have similar collaboration with other countries in Africa, in other parts of the world, or do you have do you also part of your work? Do you also get involved in international research collaboration as well?
Thank you. Within CARO, we have projects that we partner with external scientists. This could also be from universities, from the UK, depending on the project proposal and the mandate that it had. So we normally collaborate even with the UK, with the West African countries. Within Africa, we have many countries that we collaborate with based on now the questions that we are addressing and the issues at hand. We also collaborate with the county governments. Being a research institutions, we collaborate with our own people who are the county governments now to disseminate these technologies that we are coming up with. We don't have to do research and keep the results in the shelves. It is for the people to use, and now action taken on the ground. Yes.
Topics that have been included in the course. I'm just curious about what sort of topics during these 3 weeks that people have been doing their training. I mean, could you mention? Field samples. Yeah.
I mean, right now today the course is on the smart aquaculture. So the participant will talk about and discuss about the practice for the aquaculture that could possibly be affected by the climate change, like the temperature in the water, like the rainy season change. I mean, Muchira told us about the farming calendar has to be adjusted, something like that. And today we talk about the one for the aquaculture, and we're giving some example of our own, like the is the English name?
Prawns, the types of prawn,
The big prawn.
Yeah, big prawn,
And it's very expensive, 1,500 each. And we have that aquaculture in Krabi. That being a lot of money, in case of this. But then if the climate change, the water temperature might change, the current will change, the food, will change as well. So they have to adjust, something like that. So we get this one example. Of course, we will deal with the soil. Yesterday we talked about the soil nutrient by Ajahn Somsak. Okay, so he's the expert on soil chemistry and, all the fertilizers, something like that. And yeah, the assessment had, talk about this as well. And then we also have one on the technology. We teach them to fly a drone, to do the yes. smart farm mapping. So after they get the data, they can stitch and, plan on, on the final image. And one is coming up is about the weather data, weather forecasting for their own region or for their own farm. Another example would be the IoT, which is the hot topic now. We can start integrating
Internet of Things.
Yeah, Internet of Things, the smart sensor that they can deploy, in the field, get a real-time, quick data so that they can make a, in-time decision. Yeah, that's sort of topic.
Those are very exciting, very relevant topics that you have there for era, you have there for participants to get involved in, to learn, to discuss. It's very important. I mean, basically, what you are doing with Muchira and Dr. Krisanadej and the rest of the participants are doing is really, it's about food security. In the end, it's about food security, whether seafood or crops or other types of animals that you try to raise. It's about having enough sufficient food for humans to consume. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, the situation of food security. And Dr. Krisanadej, of course, has been in this area, not only in Thailand. Your knowledge about food security is global in nature and all of that, and in Africa. So Muchira, what would you say about the state of the food security in Africa or in Kenya in particular?
Well, when we talk of food security, we have to look at issues like accessibility of this food, and is it available sustainably? And then the health of this food. Is it in good and safe state for the people? When it is now global, we also think about are those individuals or the communities able to access the food even when there are some weather events that are like now disasters. So globally, you must think, if people are faced by a disaster, are they able to access food? But now at the community level, we look at the accessibility and the amount of the amount that people require and at the right time, and is it sustainable, sustainably produced? In Kenya, let me say we have not achieved food security. We will be lying to ourselves if we say there is food security. Because actually in Kenya, our country has over 75% arid and semi-arid areas, which do not produce crops properly. And most of those areas have livestock pastoralists. And then the remaining part is where farmer can depend on rains to produce food. Because with rains, the farmer is able to plan. When I plant this time, I'm able to harvest the other time and then put another crop. But now, since the rains are coming unpredictably, both the rains have now become very unpredictable, both temporal and spatial, time and the duration. Now, that is now where we are coming in as the government and the policies. I'm not in the government, I'm in research. So the policies within the government are able now to assist the farmers to harvest water in those assault areas. You find that when there is too much rain, if that water is not captured, it goes now to waste. So in most countries where there is the dry weather and such conditions of dry weather, the county governments promote by giving the farmers dam linings. Dam linings is where you are given a sheet that prevents seepage of water because the soils are sandy. You cannot put a dam where the soil is sandy. So the dam linings assist to keep this water for some time, and the farmers are able to irrigate with this water for producing, even if it was just vegetables for home consumption. Because even malnutrition in Kenya, it is not yet completely done with. We find that even some areas we also need to fortify the grains with vitamins. And also the school programs need to feed their children with these fortified foods. So food security is quite wide and it needs a lot of effort and common purpose and goodwill from the government.
And you would say there wouldn't be any problem regarding food security in Kenya in the future. Would you draw that conclusion? Well,
we all have hope. And now that we are learning more about climate change and its impacts, and the government also has programs to reverse the situation. Right now, the government has a campaign of increasing the forest cover by 2030 to have 50 million trees. So the forest cover increases and we kind of have good forested areas to capture carbon. This is trapping the rain system also. The rain cycle now is going now to change the cycle and we'll be having enough rain for our cropping systems. Because deforestation has also caused a lot of harm in Kenya. And then there was put a ban to cut trees. You cannot cut trees in Kenya without a license. Once you go to cut and the sound of that implement is heard, you have to be answerable now to the local authorities. So we are increasing the tree cover. We are also encouraging farmers, because we do on-farm practices, to practice conservation agriculture where you do not disturb the soil so much, minimum tillage practices, and then we use organic manure instead of the synthetic fertilizers. We are also promoting control of pesticides using organic pesticides. Just local plant materials, you make a mix and you control your pests. It also improves the locals' health instead of consuming so much pesticides.
Well, was it a topic in the seminar as well, the food security?
We also discussed. And actually it reminds me that we also include the self-sufficient economy.
Self-sufficient economy,
in the training as well.
Yes.
Because that's one of the way to be sustainable in food and in disaster situation like the one that we have.
The concept of self-sufficiency economy was initiated by the late King Rama IX of Thailand when the country was faced with many economic downturn, and a lot of businesses were going bankrupt. People lost jobs and all of that, and so the late king initiated the project self-sufficiency economy in order to get people to rely on themselves rather than on market.
True.
In other words, you have to be able to grow things that you need for your survival.
True.
For fish, vegetable, fruits, basic needs. Because when you have enough food, it's going to be okay, even without cash. And also, so there was an initiative that has been implemented in Thailand, has been passed on through people in Thailand, and now it has also been recognized by many people, many countries in other parts of the world as well. So what do you think about sufficiency economy concept, by the way?
Okay, thank you. The SEP is a very familiar and you can relate very well with our country, because if a farm has water, all the other activities are going to take place.
Yes.
Whether the animal feeding, the growing of crops, you modify your environment with water, and you can even have an island. If the neighbors are not doing the same and you practice that, there will be a change within the community. But then we normally say, the journey cannot be complete with one person. We have to encourage everybody to adopt the SEP. It is similar in that in the lower sides of our country where we don't have rain, those farms can harvest water. It might not be the 10% that is in the SEP because the land holdings might be small. But despite the space that you have for water, you have water in the farm to do your activities. Yes.
Okay, I think I wish we had more time, but I think we have run out of time, and I think we have covered some very pertinent issues, and I would like to thank Ms. Charity Muchira from Kenya She works at the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. I would also thank Dr. Krisanadej, the convener of the Climate Smart,
Yeah.
Climate Smart Agriculture. Thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ